Hello everyone, I'm Kareem from HyperPath, and today I'll be showing you how to set up your own bonding gateway to allow your HyperPath devices to access internet content like YouTube or Netflix over bonded connectivity using that gateway. This will typically allow you to get higher speeds than what is possible using the managed gateway, since they have limited capacity that fluctuates based on the current level of demand. This is the recommended way for getting the maximum possible bonding performance out of HyperPath. So let's get started. So let's start off by explaining what the bonding gateway does. So the bonding gateway acts as a traditional VPN gateway in that it splits the connection into two parts. One part between itself and the client, which is in this case the laptop, and this part uses the HyperPath bonding protocol. And then the second part of the connection is between itself and the destination server, which in this case is YouTube, and that uses a standard protocol, for example, TCP. And for this to work, it's required that your local device, in this case a laptop, as well as the bonding gateway, both have the HyperPath client installed and configured correctly. However, unlike a traditional VPN gateway, the bonding gateway does not need a public IP address, since HyperPath will establish a peer-to-peer connection between the gateway and the client using NAT traversal. This makes it possible for any device to act as a bonding gateway, regardless of whether or not it has a public IP. Once both the local device and the bonding gateway are configured and active, the local device will proceed to establish multiple peer-to-peer connections to the bonding gateway, depending on how many network interfaces it has available and that currently have internet connectivity. Then, any traffic that comes from the internet server, in this case YouTube, is going to be forwarded over all the available peer-to-peer connections to allow the device to use all the available capacity and maximize its reliability. So let's see a live demo of this. In this demo, we will use an EC2 instance as our bonding gateway. And so the first thing we'll do is we'll head over to the AWS console in order to launch a new EC2 instance. So we can use that one. So we will call this HyperPath bonding gateway, and we'll select the Ubuntu image, and we will select the T2 medium instance. So we have enough CPU and enough memory to get the maximum, and network performance to get the maximum possible bonding performance. And we'll select an existing key pair, but you can easily make another one. And we will say to create a new security group. And this is important as we will later modify the security group to allow for all UDP traffic in order to make sure we get a direct connection to the bonding gateway and not a relayed connection. So we will use these settings and we will launch the instance. So head over to instances. So we can see our instance here. So we will click on it. We'll go to the security tab and we will select the security group. And then we will edit the inbound rules and add a new rule that allows for all UDP traffic, and we can use any source IP. And we'll save it. And that's all. And then we can now go back to our EC2 instance, and we can get the public IP that it has in order to be able to SSH to it. We will use the key that we have, and the user is typically called Ubuntu, and you'll paste the IP. And apologies, you need to pass the key. Yes, you need sudo for this because the key has that privilege. And then now we have a running EC2 instance with Ubuntu. We need to install HyperPath on it. So what we'll do is we'll head over to the admin console. And I'm not going to go through the setup process for an initial admin console or my own node. I've done this in a previous video, and you'll be able to find the link in the description. So go over to Hypernets, and we'll go to the same testnet that my current machine is in. And as you can see, there's already one token, which I'm using for my current machine. So I'll add a new token. And this new token, we'll call it a bonding gateway. And we will give it another different IP to the other node. And everything else can remain the same. So this will give us the command to install this HyperPath token on the EC2 instance. So we'll go back to EC2 instance and paste the command and wait a few seconds. So now that HyperPath is installed on the EC2 instance, we can check the status to make sure everything is fine. And indeed it is. and it will connect to the other node shortly. However, what we need to do now is to go back and to update the gateway settings for our VM node to use the other bonding gateway as a gateway, or use the bonding gateway as a gateway. And then we'll save this, and then we'll go back to our local machine. So we can disconnect from the SSH, and we will restart the HyperPath instance to update the settings, or to reflect the updates in the settings. And now that we've restarted, we can use the HyperPath status to check the current status. And as we can see, we're connected to the bonding gateway over two different interfaces. One of them is the Wi-Fi interface, which is going into the VM through a virtual Ethernet connection. And this Wi-Fi interface is connected to a hotspot on a phone, and the other is another hotspot over USB tethering to a different phone. So we have two connections, so we can go ahead and do a speed test, for example. And one important thing that you can notice now is that our provider is Amazon, which is the cloud gate where the cloud gateway obviously is hosted, or the bonding gateway is hosted. So before we start the test, we will head over to the terminal again, and we will start BWMNG, which is a bandwidth monitor, in order to be able to see the usage in real time of the available network interfaces. So we'll start the test and we'll bring it to the foreground. And as you could see, it used both network interfaces for the uplink and downlink, which is similar to what we experienced when using the managed bonding gateway. So that's all for today's video. In the next video, I'll show you how to use another feature of HyperPath, which is used to access non-HyperPath devices that are on the same local network as one of your HyperPath nodes. Thanks for watching.